Hey YouTube, I'm Charlie. Welcome to my channel. Today I've brought out the new 2018 Kawasaki Ninja 400. I've been wanting to ride this bike because I just wanted to see what it was like against the original 400 that I had way back in the beginning of 2000. That was my first bike that I learned to ride on after I passed my test. So stay tuned, let's see what this thing can do. Okay, so what have we got here? So again, as I said, it's the 2018 Ninja 400. It's 399cc from a inline twin. It's pushing out 45 PS, which isn't too bad for a learner bike. Gives you enough power there to get in and out of traffic if need be, but not enough for you to come into any big problems. Down the front there you've got a nice kind of joint LCD display as well as the original clock for your RPM. Now this doesn't have any rider modes, it doesn't come with rider modes, you've just got one mode. So the clock there, so the LCD screen will give you your miles per gallon, your average miles per gallon, your range for your fuel. You'll get a clock, your odometer, trip A and trip B, as well as the nice gear indicator as well, and you get a small clock. Everyone needs a clock on a motorbike. So I'm going to just do some town riding today because I think this is where this bike's more suited. Yes, you could take it out on dual carriageways and still have some fun. But with this bike being so light, I think it comes in at about 163 kilos. It's perfect just to whip in and out of traffic on your daily commute to the office, or a weekend if you want to go into the town and get in and get out again. So, first thing I've noticed when I've got on the bike, I'm 6 foot tall. The seat height on the bike is 785 mil, so it's quite a short bike, so perfect for the younger generation. They're quite short. You should be able to feel quite at home on there, quite relaxed. They do, I believe they do another seat that will increase the height as an optional extra. But first, what can I say? It's quite nippy for a twin, but as you'd expect, it's got a little bit low end grunt to it. I'm not expecting too much at the higher end. The gearbox is very smooth. Gear change is very easy. The clutch is very light. But this Kawasaki, absolutely loving it. Absolutely loving it. If you're looking for, as I said, something just to nip around town or do a little bit of commuting on, perfect bike for that. Even just look, getting through the traffic here, not a problem at all. Let's just go into my old 400 for a minute. So I passed my test back into 2003. I'd had a little bit of riding experience. I'd had my CVT and had a 50cc motorbike for a little while, but I hadn't ridden for about 5-6 years before I decided that I was going to go and take my full license as a 3-day intensive course. So that included my learner beast, which is a CVT, so compulsory basic training. That was the first day. At the end of the first day, we then got given the 400. I believe it was the, I'm trying to remember now what 400 it was. Might have been the CB 400, something like that. We were given those in the afternoon just to get a bit of a taster ready for the next 2 days. So I flew through those 2 days, got to the day of my test, and as like today, absolutely tipping it down. As a new rider, the last thing you want to be doing is riding in the wet. But I got down to the test centre with a stroke of luck, absolute stroke of luck. The examiner comes out, turns around to me and says, "You're the usual examiner that rides the bikes, is sick today, so you're going to have me. We'll have comms, but I'm going to be following you in a car. So if you take any wrong turns, I'm not going to mark you down, because I'll put it down to the fact that you can't hear me. And if you lose me at roundabouts and traffic lights, all I ask is for you to pull over at the nearest safe place and wait for me to catch you up." So you can kind of gather from that what my test was like and what was happening. But I think the worst bit about it all, well, there's 2 bits really. The first one was I was down the side of a lorry on a dual carriageway, and what did he ask me to do? He asked me to take the next junction, which was about 300 yards up the road. Now, halfway down the lorry, pouring with rain, new rider. I felt like I closed my eyes and opened up the throttle, which is what I did. Managed to get down the slip road okay, and got to the bottom, and I didn't hear what it said, which exit to take, so I took the wrong exit. But going back to what he originally said, he wasn't going to mark me down for that, which was perfect. Now, I don't know if it's the same today as it was back then, but if you were to, on your test, if you were to put your foot down during your U-turn, it'd be an automatic failure. Now, I got to the area, took us into this housing estate, and the examiner said, "Right, I want you to do your U-turn whilst riding, and I also want you to push it round in a U-turn. Up to you which one you do first." I was like, "Right, okay, well I'll push it around first." So I did that. I then got on the bike to do to ride the U-turn. And what happened? Just as I completed the U-turn, went to straighten up. I put my foot, tapped my foot on the floor. Absolutely gutted. Absolutely gutted. So I was, no doubt, as you can imagine, swearing. The air was blue inside my helmet. But my instructor turned around to me before I got to the test centre. I was like, "Whatever you do, if you think you've made a mistake, forget about it. Don't worry about it. Just enjoy the experience." And it could be that he never saw it. So just don't worry about it. Continue as if you were on your test, you've not made any mistakes, and go from there. So it's exactly what I did. So I continued doing my test and got back to the test centre, walked into the office, and the examiner turned around and said, "Well, Charlie, congratulations, you've passed." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, well done, congratulations, enjoy yourself, happy riding." Well, as soon as he gave me the paperwork, I made sure he gave me the paperwork first. As soon as he gave me the paperwork, I then turned around to him and said, "What about my U-turn?" He was like, "Yeah, I noticed you put your foot down in your U-turn, but you'd already kind of completed the turn. You had the bike under control. I didn't mark you down for it. There was no need for it." So of course, absolutely ecstatic. Walked outside the test centre. My instructor turned around to me and said, "So Charlie, you know where you are?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Give me your bib, give me your comms. We'll see you back at the learner centre at some stage." Gave me the keys and away I went. I'll tell you what, that first ride, without anybody helping or guiding me, was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Not experienced that amount of excitement and happiness in such a long time. Now, every time that somebody speaks or asks me about doing the bike test, first thing I say is it was the best £500 I ever spent. Best £500 I ever spent. Based on the fact that I could do this for you guys today. I can bring out motorbikes, give them a good test, show you what's good about them, what's not, and really enjoy myself. So sit back and enjoy the rest of this test ride as much as I'm going to be enjoying it, and make sure you subscribe. Okay guys, I'll just give you a quick instrument display. So I'll just switch on here. As you can see, you've got your ABS light, neutral, and your engine light. You center clock here for your rev counter. You got a gear indicator. You got your clock here, and down the side here you've got your fuel, your engine temperature, your speedo, your mileometer at the top. If you want to change your mileometer, you hit this top button. That cycles through the trip A, trip B, and the bottom button does your range, your instant miles per gallon, your average miles per gallon, and back to your range again. Well, I'll give you a bit of information about my old bike. So again, I passed my test. And of course, as soon as you pass your test, you want to go out and get a bike, right? You want to start riding. You want to be the king of the road. So I couldn't wait. I found this ZXR 400. Went and saw it. Fell in love with it and bought it there and then. I knew nothing about bikes. I didn't know what to look for. What was good, what was bad. All I knew is it turned over, it ran okay. I took it out for a quick ride, went through the gears okay, happy, had an MOT. What did you want at that age? So I bought this bike, rode it back to the house, just thinking I was king of the road. Absolutely loved it. Took it around to my mates' houses. They were all into their bikes when they were all doing 16, 17, doing their 50cc CBTs and stuff. Rocked up on this and just thought I was it. Anyway, this bike, my god, I wouldn't say it was a death trap, but there wasn't a lot right with it, let's say. I had to do quite a bit of work on it. Went in for a few services. The first service it went in for was new tyres, new chain sprockets, and just to give it a once over. Now the bill came out at crazy money because of the amount of work that needed doing, but I didn't care. I had a bike, I had my freedom, absolutely loving it. So I get this bike out of the garage as soon as it's had its chain and sprockets, and I thought, right now I've got a brand new motorbike, so let's see what we could do with it. So I jumped on a dual carriageway around Peterborough and just opened it up. Now I had a friend with me at the time, and he'd been riding for ages, for a few years, and I felt as a new rider that he kept coming up and down I was in the inside lane, he was in the outside lane, he kept coming up and down the side of me. He was on a bigger bike than I was, and I could see that there was this Land Rover Discovery in the inside lane, about half a mile up the road. I was like, right, okay, well I better start getting into the outside lane to overtake him. Now of course my friend's riding up and down the side of me. I'm thinking, are you going to leave me room so I can get out? And of course, in my naivety, realising that he knew that it was a Discovery and he knew I'd be pulling out, it'd be fine for me just to go. I took one last look back over my shoulder to then look forward again to see this Discovery right in front of me. Oh my god, I swung my bike out into the outside lane, swung it back again. I must have missed him by, I don't know, 5 foot. And I wasn't exactly going slowly either. I pulled up 2 miles up the road, took my helmet off. I had to have a cigarette. I was absolutely pounded at the thought that I'd nearly kind of killed myself and run up the back end of this Land Rover Discovery. Absolutely mental. But I had my 400 for, well, it must have been 4 years. I rode that thing. I rode it into the ground. Some guy bought it off me off eBay with the expectation of just using some of the parts off it to rebuild his that he had. So that's what he did. He bought it, gave me the money, and away he went. So I had the grand visions of taking that money and buying myself a 600. Fortunately, that didn't materialise. At that point in time, money wasn't great, being made redundant. So I had about a 4-year break off motorbikes at that point in time, and then I think it was in 2010 I went and got my 636. And it just felt like I'd just passed my test again. Just jumped on a bike for the first time. Amazing, absolutely amazing. But that's kind of why I wanted to bring this out, just to see what it was like. Now that 400, for its faults, the engine was great, had lots of, for me, had quite a bit of power. No one could touch me. I used to go out riding with my brother on his 600. He used to obviously whip past me on the straights, but in the corners I'd catch him up again. It was an amazing bike. I can't believe, look at this pigeon. I don't know if you can see that, it's crossed the road with the traffic lights. Oh no. Okay, so I thought I'd just stop off so you guys can have a quick look at the bike and see what I mean about the H2 kind of styling of this bike. So firstly, as you can see down here, it's got a trellis frame. And then at the back of the bike, the rear seat cowl, you can see these fins here. As you remember from the H2, they kind of have that around the rear of the seat here, so that's quite nice little touch from the H2. And also as we come around the front of the bike, you can see from kind of like the nose cone here, from the H2 styling, where the H2's headlight would be here in the centre. So it looks nice, I like it. It's a nice style. Integrated indicators as well, which is quite a nice touch. As I said, it's a single side front disc. You don't need two on a small engine like this, but it does come with, as you can see here, comes with the ABS system as well, which is good. Helps new riders out if they get into trouble. You see more of the trellis frame running through here as well, and you can probably see it just inside there. It's nice. Up until you come into the exhaust, I just don't like these big exhausts these days. I don't know why we have to have them on motorbikes, but it tends to be the first thing that people change anyway once they get them home. It's nice. And then when you come around the back, this is kind of like what my ZX-10RR looks like from a rear light perspective. It's nice, guys, I like it. I'm going to have to take it back to wheels now. Had it for a little while. My ZX-10RR's been in for a Kawasaki recall on the gearbox, so just had a call to say that's done. So stay with me, I'm going to ride back. Right then guys, so I'm going to head back to wheels, drop this bike off, but I guess just to kind of summarise the test ride for today, this bike, if you're in the market for a learner bike, just pass your test, you just want to get something, you want to get out on the road, you want to get some miles under your belt on learning how to handle a motorcycle, this would be perfect. Absolutely perfect. The V-twin engine delivers you a little bit of low-end power, softens out in the high range. It's light, as I said, 163 kilos. The seat height 785. So it'd be perfect for a younger person just to get on and be able to get your feet flat to the floor. And with the 160 kilos, it's really light just to flick around roundabouts, weave in and outside of traffic. So not only just for learner riders, if you're in the market for doing some commuting through through cities. Again, another perfect bike to do that. Easy to handle. It's lovely. Clutch is nice and light. Gearbox is nice and smooth. Perfect little bike for the money. So I'm going to head back to Wales. So if you guys are interested and you're local to the area, by all means just drop in at Wheels, tell them Charlie sent you, and they'll give you a good deal. So guys, thank you for watching today's test ride. Again, if there's anything I've missed out that you want me to cover in my next ones, just drop us a comment below, drop us a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much guys. See you soon. Bye.